Hey, biology students. I wanted to go over a sample ecology project from start to finish. So make sure you have a nice title page. Remember, this is a video, so you can pause this anytime you like, but I'm going to keep going. Um, Make sure your abiotic factors, there are 5 of them. You can kind of look through here and see. Um, Make sure that I'm going to move myself. Make sure that you maybe make sure that you have 5 different factors here, and here's just some ideas. And don't forget to cite your sources. Next slide would be other ecosystems in our biome. This is basically, this is not the map you would use, but you would include maps that would highlight where they are, and you would list those. Biodiversity. This biome has more diversity when compared to blank biome. So anytime there are dots, you should fill this in, and less diversity than other blank biomes because, and you should kind of talk about why. And then you could also include there are how many different plant species and how many different animal species in your ecosystem. That might be nice. You can always add a picture here that might be nice. I just can't find a place to be, can I? All right, symbiotic relationships is the next one. This follows your ecosystem project paper exactly. So you can be looking at that paper while you look through what this sample looks like. So for symbiotic relationships, you want to name both of the animals, and please be species specific. So you don't want to say a bear when you could say a black bear. Or a grizzly bear or a brown bear, whichever one is in your ecosystem. And they're not all in every ecosystem. And so you want to list these two, a description of how they interact, and then tell me what kind of symbiosis it is. So do that twice and do pictures for each. You can pick 2 mutualisms or 2 commensalisms or 2 parasitisms, but I prefer you do one of one and then one of a different one. Don't forget to cite your sources. Competition in the blank ecosystem. So for interspecific, you need to look at your notes for this, but you're going to say, this competes with this, and they compete for this, and then put a picture. And then for intraspecific, same thing. This and this compete for blank. Don't just say food, or don't just say shelter or whatever. Be specific about what it is. Invasive species in the ecosystem, or in whatever it is, your ecosystem, you are going to talk about, you're going to name that invasive species, and you're talking about its niche, how they, and then you will detail how they live, eat, their habitat, their predator, their prey, include a picture of them also here. So you're going to give a little bit about the invasive species and then talk about what it directly competes with. So you're going to say, so-and-so directly competes with this native species, whatever it is, over something specific. So next are producers. This is part 3. So your producers might look like this. You might put your pictures of your producers. You need their common name and what strategist they are. So remember, R for rapid, K for cares, or kangaroo. You can look at your notes for strategists. I think that's on page 8. And then primary consumers will be this similar. So for producers, you have 3 primary consumers, at least 4 of those. Secondary, at least 4 of those. I didn't change that, but I should have. And then tertiary, at least 2 of those. And then decomposers, at least 2 of those as well. So the secondary consumers and tertiary consumers and decomposers, I think I already went through those. The next one is the food web. this would be, I think, number 2 in part 3 of so part 3, number 2. So this is an example of a food web. Apparently I'm in this food web. I'll move myself up here. So you've got producers down here, and then whoever eats them goes in the next level, and whoever eats them goes in the next level. And so make sure arrows are attached to everybody, at least one arrow, and usually multiple. There are directions on how to put an arrow in. You click insert and then shape and then arrow. You're going to use 10 pictures from the slides you just made with the producers, primary consumers, secondary consumers, etc. And you're going to just stick those pictures in of whoever eats what. So remember, the arrow always goes to the eater where the energy is going. And then I just changed the color of these arrows to show one food chain. So from here to here to here is one food chain in this whole web. The energy pyramid is next. And let me put myself over here out of the way. Okay. So you need to label each trophic level as a producer, primary consumer, etc. So you need to label those. You can just use text boxes for those. Place the pictures of the plants and animals. So like all the plants and animals in your previous slides, copy them and paste them into each one of these. So if it's a producer, it's a plant, it goes down here. If it's a primary consumer, it goes in this level, etc. And then start with 100% of the energy at the bottom level. So you put 100% here and then only transfer up 10% each way. So you can look at your notes for that because all the answers are in there. Now, where did I get a blank pyramid? I just searched the internet. So I searched for energy pyramid blank and I got one. The endangered species, it just kind of explains it here. You're going to find an endangered species. I'm always on an animal. And you're going to talk about why it's endangered. And if it were to go extinct, you can kind of read through those too. Just push pause and read through those. Make sure you're citing your sources. Human interactions, the problems have one slide, and then the solutions have another slide. So humans are impacting this ecosystem because and you would explain that, in a couple sentences. Positive and negative effects, you would explain here. And then on the next slide, you would talk about solutions. So how can we fix this? Explain maybe two different solutions here that are being enacted or maybe your plans. So, and how it will affect the organisms involved, so the plants and animals, and then how it will also affect the people that are involved in these solutions. So it could be good, could be bad, could be costly, could benefit them somehow. So you're going to have to think on those. Your works cited page, you need at least 6 sources. So I've given kind of an example of what that might look like. Of course, you need the URL. So you just copy and paste those. You do not have to cite pictures. 6 sources is a minimum, but most projects will have many more than that. So hopefully this has been helpful, and I'll see if I can stop this video. I'm just having a lot of problems today. Move myself over here.